thank you for clicking on this video. This is a show between 3 university journalism students who are just going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Welcome to LEAFSTALK, everybody.
Woo! In terms of Leivo,
I feel bad for that guy. Because, he loves Toronto. He wants to stay. He's obviously, I think he's proven himself. Same thing with Soshnikov. There's just no room. The Leafs are too deep, and he deserves better, I think.
when he's played in every situation. I mean, in the few games he's played this season, he has spent time on the power play.
Yeah.
And then he can also make an impact on the fourth line. I mean, you saw what happened with Soshnikov, where he came up last season and spent 56 games on the fourth line and didn't really do anything. But Leivo's made an impact. I don't know. For me, I think if we can fit him in to a spot, I'd fit him in before Soshnikov. They're the same age, and we've seen what Leivo can do. I know this year, really, unless we move a winger like Komarov or JVR, there's no spot for Soshnikov or Leivo to play full minutes, barring an injury. But looking at the wingers next year, I mean, on the left side, guaranteed, we've got Hyman and Marlowe. And then on the right side, we have Nylander, Marner, Brown, and more than likely Kapanen. So we still have 2 spots on the left side, and Leivo can play on the left side as well. I'm thinking probably Andreas Janssen gets in the lineup just from what he's done with the Marlies, but that's still leaving a spot for somebody else to come in, whether that be Martin, Leivo, or Soshnikov.
Well, knowing that Leivo could very much have a spot next year, do you think he kind of acted out of frustration? Because if you're seeing that, then I'm sure he is, and other people are too. Why would he go out and ask for a trade now?
They're way too deep up front, and he won't fit in there.
Obviously, he wants to stay in Toronto. I think it's difficult. You're right. Where if he does stay with Toronto, he's not going to be a top 6 forward. There's just no room for him. But I think the whole point of them signing him for the extra years, because they do have a spot for him next year, they just don't right now. And it makes it interesting because, yeah, why would he come and speak out now if that's the case? My only thing, maybe they had said we have a spot for you next season, and then something changed along the line.
Maybe he's trying to scare them into giving him a spot right now.
Who would he even take out, though?
Other than throwing an extra forward in there. What are you going to do, right?
Okay, if it came down to putting, say Soshnikov and Leivo are both we need to play or we're getting traded. Well, Leivo already did it. Do you send Kapanen back to the minors to give them a spot to keep them long term?
Well, Leafs are playing some of their best hockey right now than they have, since the All-Star break. I think right now, with the lineup they have, they're playing so well. So I say don't mess with it.
Kapanen's too valuable right now.
Yeah.
Seeing him every
And he's
game,
killing
off the
it.
puck on the bench.
He's killing it. In the playoffs last year, he was my favorite. I was surprised he didn't have a spot just after that series.
The one thing is, I think in keeping Kapanen up for the rest of the season, it could be short-term gain and long-term loss, because if we were to put Leivo or Soshnikov into that spot, there's really no harm in sending Kapanen down to the AHL other than he's playing well right now, and it's kind of a loss for the team. But if you were to slot in Leivo or Soshnikov in the 4th spot, in the 4th line right winger spot, you send Kapanen down, it keeps one of them happy. They're going to have a spot for next year, and you have 2 wingers as opposed to 1 going into next season.
What's weird for me is that I don't think the Leafs expected to be tied for 5th in the NHL right now. So that's something you have to consider as well. Yeah, they're trying to do good things for the long term, but they're in a position where they could actually maybe do some damage. It's a tough situation almost, because I don't think the Leafs were expecting to be doing as good as they are right now. It's almost tempting to not do anything because they want to win right now.
In terms of Matt Martin, healthy scratch for 6 or 7 games now. Does he have a spot anymore?
I don't think he has a spot playing.
I look at him as a core guy in that dressing room, but
I mean, I think last season he was extremely valuable, because you're bringing in all these rookies, and you don't want to see, especially someone like Marner, get thrown around. But at this point, I think he's almost weighing down the 4th line when he does play. If we have the option of having, I don't know, Kapanen, Komarov, and more, and maybe we add a center at the deadline, that's a good 4th line. That's a 4th line that can actually can produce. But
Mhm.
putting Martin on it instead of Kapanen, for instance, I think it automatically becomes a standard fourth line where it's more shutdown role than something that can actually produce points. Are we buying, are we selling, or are we staying put?
I feel like my opinion changed from 2 weeks ago. I would like to stay put right now.
Where were you before?
Well, I don't know. Everyone's saying, oh, we need a veteran D. We need a solid D to help us make a cup run and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. But like you were saying, why? To get a great D, you'd have to give up literally everything you own.
For me, it's don't do anything unless like a too good of an opportunity presents
Right?
itself.
Yeah.
Like Dermott has been unbelievable. Like everything he does off the puck is like magnificent. Yeah,
I'd say.
he's still in that phase. Like Armed Forces night was on Saturday,
Yeah.
and like all the players came out after him, were on the ice for the troops, and like they're all signing. And he was just kind of walking around. He was still like every time someone asked for his autograph, he was like me, like sure, like he's just like he's taking it in stride and like just watching him play and like he grinds so hard. Like I've never seen him just leisurely skate, even just going back to the bench. Like he hustles
Yeah.
back to the bench. Like he's just making the most of opportunity, and I think Babcock loves that he's not taking advantage of the opportunity. Like he's really thinking he can get sent down anytime.
For those of you who don't know, Brent works with the Leafs. We'll try and put the picture up on screen, but there's a tweet of Mitch Marner catching a T-shirt. Brent is the one throwing the T-shirt.
Yeah, I threw him like about 10 T-shirts, skating on the ice. Had to hit him in stride, throw him out. He'd turn around, hit him with another one. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Hey, we're only students, all right? We're taking everything we can get.
Just looking down the left side, there's nothing to be done on the left side now. Riley, Gardner, Dermott,
Like that's
not
you
changing.
keep that. Like that's
Thing is, I think we should only go after a right-hand defenseman if there's someone who's going to immediately slot into like a top four role. I think like it's been beaten to death, but I think the only player that could be is Mike Green, just because looking at who else, Zaitsev and Hainsey are gonna stay in the lineup. Like
100%.
that's not changing. Hainsey's gonna play with either Gardner or Riley, and Zaitsev could fall down to that third pair, if we were to add Green. But other than that, like I'm also confident just keeping like Carrick in the lineup. Like
yeah.
Polak can.
Like
yeah,
you say.
just let him go.
I thought he's actually been not terrible.
But yeah, I know someone who says he looks like Louis Litt, and ever since then I can't get it out of my head. So.
It was reported on by, I'm not sure. I don't know who reported it. But, it was essentially reported that Van Riemsdyk wasn't, teams were calling about JVR and Lamoriello saying he's not available. Bozak, unless they can get a center that's going to be with the team for longer than just this season in return.
So you're thinking if you trade Bozak, you trade for a center.
I think you have to. Just looking into next season, if Bozak does leave, we need to go and I think we need to sign a center. I don't think we can just bring up Alton and Gauthier. I think we can bring up one of the two, but I don't think we can slot both in the lineup for a team that's going to be once
Like a deep
again
playoff
challenging
push.
for the Atlantic. So I don't know. I think Bozak is honestly probably the safest. I think we have wingers like Soshnikov, Leivo, even Martin can come into the lineup if we get a great deal for JVR. But I think Bozak, just because he's a center, is kind of set for the rest of the season, in my opinion.
He's played there for so long. He fits in so well that he fits right now.
He's a decent third-line center. To keep him with JVR and Brown for the rest of the season, I'm pretty confident in that third line heading into the playoffs. Phaneuf got dealt to the Kings. What were your immediate reactions?
Nothing more than trying to keep Carlson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. What struck out to me is he's played like 900 whatever games, all for Canadian teams.
I don't know. I just looked at the deal, and I remember being so mad when we traded Phaneuf. But I was pissed because we didn't get anything for him. But just looking back, that was so stupid to be mad about because we got, just in comparison, a second round pick who turned into Razinen. We got no retained cap space, which I think was the biggest part of that. And then I guess Lindbergh also led to getting Picard from Vegas. But we basically freed up $7 million. And just in comparison to what Ottawa just made as a deal, in return, they got Marian Gaborik, who is in his 30s now, and I think he has 14 points in 30 games, but he's getting paid almost $5 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick Shore, who may or may not even be with the team after the season.
Probably not.
And then they retain $1.75 million in cap space for the next 3 seasons.
Yeah.
The Sens probably thought it was easier to try and flip Gaborik at just under $5 million than it would be to flip Phaneuf at 7. So if you can swap them, even if you're retaining salary, it makes sense. But I think in order for this to make sense of a deal, Gaborik needs to be moved. What was the point of it? Because they retain 1.75 on Phaneuf. Then they bring Gaborik 4.75. So really, looking at next season, if they don't keep Shore, they still have 6.625 on the cap versus Phaneuf's and Thompson for LA, who are going to have 6.9.
I was kind of shocked when I found out though. Like, he's been solid for.
Yeah, he seemed like a
Ottawa.
good fit.
Yeah.
He didn't really produce as he did when he was in Calgary, but he was still solid.
The Leafs for a while had a really bad problem of getting a pretty good player and trying to turn them into the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Like, Phaneuf is not a number 1 defenseman, but if you're able to put Phaneuf like on a second pair, he's great.
Oh yeah.
Same with Kessels. Kessel's not going to be the
You're
leader of your team.
Face of the
But
franchise.
if you have Crosby and Malkin with him, like, he's going to be great.
He must be so happy.
Frederick Anderson. So now there's talk for him potentially in the Vezina race. Do you guys think that is legit, or do you think he's still a little bit outside of that?
I don't think he deserves a Vezina right now. He does. He is the MVP of the Leafs. For me, there's no question about that. He's keeping us in games and he's winning us a lot of games, but I don't think he's Vezina caliber yet.
I think he deserves to be in the conversation, for sure. I think he's earned that right, considering he's the single reason the Leafs have stayed in most games when they've been vastly outplayed and outshot. But I mean, you look at his save percentage, like it's in the top percentage of the league, and
He's getting the most shots too.
Oh, like considering, like, I think that's the other thing you have to keep in mind is that he faces like a ton of shots. He needs to be in the conversation, but I don't. Andrei Vasilevsky for me is.
Because they are giving up the 4th most shots of any team in the NHL, 33.7 shots a game, but they're still one of the top teams in the league, and obviously a lot of that falls on Anderson. Yeah, in terms of Marner and Nylander now, I think it's safe to say that the season's not even over yet, but they busted out of the sophomore slump now, if they even ever really had a sophomore slump. Like, I wouldn't say at any point this season they were really slumping.
As I'd go, I don't think they
Yeah.
slumped really.
No.
And Marner too, as much as he was slumping, like it was a scoring slump.
Marner, I think, yeah, it was more of a production slump. I think he was there to play every single night.
Oh yeah.
I think he really just wasn't seeing the results.
Yeah, he's just getting the bounces now.
I wouldn't even put that on Marner per se. I'd put it on who he's playing with. Like,
Oh, I
so you
agree.
put Nylander and Matthews together, obviously it's magic, and you want to keep Matthews and Marner separate, but like, what offensive threat can you put with Marner? Like,
Yeah.
JVR and Bozak. Matt Martin, like,
You can't do anything for him.
exactly. So I think that's honestly all it was. Like, because they're both, Nylander and Marner are both primarily playmakers, and they need those scores. Now Nylander and Matthews are together, and that's really worked.
Yeah. Also, just looking at plus minus on the team, for forwards, the closest forward to the first line in plus minus is a +4.
Wow.
And that's Nazem Kadri. Everyone else on the team, other than the Matthews line, every other forward falls below a +4, other than Kadri, who's at +4. When you move up to the first line, Austin Matthews is +26, Zach Hyman is plus 24, and William Nylander is plus 21. So, I don't know. For all of those who still feel like Hyman shouldn't be on the first line, I think you've kind of solidified that.
Hyman is the Robin to Matthews' Batman. It's actually crazy.
What's Nylander then?
The Batmobile. Fuck.
Alfred, come on.
Yeah. I don't know. His ability to get the puck back and dish it to the guys who can obviously score better than the next guy it's unbelievable to watch.
Do you want to talk about McElhinney a little bit?
I love that guy. For a backup goalie in Toronto to be liked by the fans is huge. We've never had that. Like, spectacular. But he holds his ground, and the fans like him. For the Toronto Maple Leafs fan base to enjoy their backup goaltender, let alone their first goaltender, is crazy to me.
My only thing is, you signed up for 2 years, so you got a year left. Garrett Sparks. What do you do next year? Like, I'm just thinking, it's one of those situations where Garrett Sparks, he's so good with McElhinney.
I don't
Do you
know.
make Sparks wait another year?
I don't know. And Picard too.
That's the thing. Like, they're for the first time.
Yeah.
I think we have
We got goalies.
not only one good goaltender,
Yeah. But three.
three.
Yeah.
So, no offense to McElhinney, but like, I don't know.
That was a bird.
There's a pigeon on the windowsill.
He's
and
got something to say.
It's cooing at us right now. Sorry for laughing, but love and light.
Sporting the color. He's got that downtown Toronto gray on him now. Angle for the boys.
Yeah, so we're finishing this one at kind of a rough angle. I look at McElhinney, and I wrote a post for Leaf Sub on this. Check it out. It was mainly about Anderson, but, I mean, I looked at McElhinney too, and he has had 3 phenomenal games where he's stolen the game, and he's only played 9 games. But, I mean, against Dallas, the Leafs won 4-1. He had 39 saves on 40 shots. Against Edmonton, that was his first shutout of the year, 41 save shutout. We got drastically outshot in that one. And even earlier, back in November, we played Boston. I think this was in Boston too. 38 saves on 39 shots. He has a .932 save percentage. Like,
It's a blessing. It's just a plus for us.
yeah,
It's
I struggle to see like how we don't want to keep him next season. Just like if the season were to end right now and we had to make a decision on a backup goalie for next year, I think for sure we'd keep McElhinney.
One more year.
I mean, for what he's worth, I mean, personally, I'd give Freddie, like, especially down the stretch. Like, once the Leafs really secure, like, you know, we're not going to beat Tampa, we might not catch Boston, but we're going to, like sit with that 3rd seed in the Atlantic, like, maybe give Freddie a couple more nights off, make McElhinney play a little bit more by then.
Yeah.
So I'd use McElhinney more down the line, and I think that's really going to be the test of how valuable he is.
So that being said, do you push? I think we're just a handful of points back of Boston, or do you use your 15, 16, 17 point cushion and start McElhinney on a random game?
I think it's too early to tell right now.
Yeah.
I think once we get closer to the playoffs and it becomes more clear that, yeah, we're staying in that 3rd spot, if we can make a push, I think we go for it. But if we're going to stay in that 3rd spot, I think it's worth playing McElhinney, like, maybe, like, every 4th game kind of thing, just to see, like, what his value is, really. Because in 9 games, he's been phenomenal. It's such a small sample size, it's hard to say.
You're right.
I think that's it for us. Thanks for clicking on the video and watching. What do YouTubers do? They're like,
I don't know if this is going to work. To subscribe, click here. For Ben Shelley's Instagram, click the hat. And to watch the next video for when it gets posted, click Ben's face.
Video to come. All right.
Cool.
Thanks for watching Leafs Talk. We just talked Leafs.
Leafs talk. That was good.
That was fun.
I'm a fan of that.